Okay, welcome back.
Is that blood?
I'm gonna
No,
move
never
a bit
mind.
more here.
No one back home will ever believe this.
Position. There we go. So, this is going to be my build guide for how I crafted these characters. The Scooby-Doo characters, in case you want to play them on your own. Take you through the level progression and explain my thought process. You know, typical build guide stuff.
With haste.
Okay, go over to Withers first.
No one's stopped me yet.
Basically, have everything I can in camp. It's awesome.
Just out of view.
Huh. Still have gold from the last time I had to respec. Probably from when I respec'd Fred or Daphne.
Fate, dost thou require a new ally? As thou did.
Okay, so for Fred, we're going to be starting off as a fighter. Now, fighter gets us everything we need. In order to be an effective frontline leader of the party. Gets us all weapons, all armor proficiencies, gets us second winds. At level 2 you get action surge. It's a really good all-rounds, fits your purpose sort of character. I am making Fred a human, so you can make your basic character jokes if you want. We're going to be picking up the defense fightings. No, wait, great weapon. Dueling. Picked up dueling. I don't know why it defaults back to defense. Very weird. Now, the reason we're picking up dueling is because +2 to damage is just helpful, and we are going to be wielding one-handed weapon and shields. For the ability scores, this is how we'll start out with 16 strength, 10 dexterity, 14 constitution, 8 intelligence, 10 wisdom, 16 charisma. The strength and charisma are because we need strength for our fighter weapon abilities, and the charisma because we are going to be multiclassing into Bard. Now, the reason I had stats like this is because I used the Mirror of Loss and got +3 to charisma. I did use the Potion of Everlasting Vigor to give Fred a +2 to strength, which made leveling way easier. But if you don't want to do that, you can figure out a leveling scheme that works better. But this build is balanced for Tactician difficulty, and if you know what you're doing, it's still very overpowered. So, enjoy. Now, for skill proficiencies, I picked up human. Proficiency was investigation. Insight is just generally helpful, and then between the options I had, I picked up athletics for the other one. We do have the folk hero background, which grants us animal handling and survival. Animal handling is very helpful for if you want to communicate with animals, I guess. And survival will help you find those dirt mounds with buried treasure. Now, Oh my gosh, this
Breathe deep and
is
move.
basically nothing. Right, it's over encumbered because I had stuff for the final. Now, I would recommend to just continue leveling in Fighter. At level 2, you're just getting off the Novoid, so you don't have much. Level 2, we do get Action Surge, just always helpful. Gain an extra action once per short rest. At level 3, so at level 3, you do have a choice, and this entirely comes up to your personal preference. You can either continue to level in Fighter and skip Battlemaster, or we can go over into Bard and be getting some Bard abilities. Which, that's entirely up to you. Now, what I did was I leveled in Fighter for my first 3 levels, then I went 5 levels in Bard, and then rest into Fighter. You don't have to do this leveling scheme. It entirely works out for you. But we are going to... So I'm gonna just level with the straight all 7 levels in Fighter, then go into 5 Bard, just to make things easier for leveling. Just to show you off what we're getting. Rework the leveling scheme, how it makes sense for you. Now, from Battlemaster Fighter, we get a lot of maneuvers, so take what you want. I recommend Trip Attack because knocking people prone is just generally very good. And then Menacing Attack, Maneuvering Attack, Goading Attack. Menacing, try and frighten a creature. It's a little redundant with making them prone, but could still be helpful. Maneuvering Attack, give an ally extra movement speed. Goading, try and force the target to only attack you. We are very tanky, so because we have heavy armor, enemies are most likely going to be missing attacks against us, so Goading Attack is very good. Distracting Attack, give allies advantage on attack rolls against a target. This is good early on. Disarming Attack, this is just always helpful, especially if you're going up against a paladin, because that happens a handful of times. I'll grab Goading Attack. Now, this is where I veered off into Bard in my original playthrough, but I'm just gonna make leveling up easier for me to keep track of. And level up in Fighter. So, at Fighter level 4, we get no features from Fighter, we just get an extra feat. I'm gonna grab Martial Adept, because this lets you get an extra superiority die, and 2 extra battle maneuvers. Yes, that's right. So, maneuvering attack, and I guess distracting attack. I don't know. At Fighter level 5, we get extra attack. So, now we're even more effective on the battlefield. At Fighter level 6, you get an extra feat. I'm gonna go with an ability score improvement to Charisma. I mean Strength. Why not? So if you pick up the Everlasting Vigor, your strength will be 20 by the time you get to Act 2. At fighter level 7, we get an extra superiority die and 2 extra maneuvers. Sweeping attack is good because it'll help out with some AoE attacks without you having to use spells. And repose, enemies are missing you often, might as well have the ability to strike back with a bonus action. Pushing attack to knock people off the ledge, rally, expend superiority dies right before you short rest, and give allies temp HP, that's helpful. Frightening creatures is good. Have an ally use the reaction to make a weapon attack against an enemy, that's pretty good. You know, all of these are good and have their situations, so I'd say pick your favorite. 5, 6, 7. Yep, we only get 7 that we're not picking up, and we actually get 7, so yeah. We get half the list, so I suggest you go to the Baldur's Gate 3 wiki. Let me actually pull that up. So go to Baldur's Gate 3 wiki, classes, and then fighter, and look at Battlemaster. These are all the maneuvers here. I recommend you read over them and just pick your favorites. I do have a thing with printed out information and links. This is in the description. Look at it if you want. It's basically just going to be a printed version of what I'm explaining. So it might be easier to understand than my ramblings. So yeah, pick your favorites from here. Now, we are not going to be leveling to fighter level 8, we're going to have our multi-class of bards. So, Vicious Mockery gives you a good ranged damage option, and if it lands, creature has disadvantage on attack rolls. Picking this up early on and remembering to use it is very helpful. Then for your other cantrip, it really doesn't matter a ton. Minor Illusion is good for drawing enemies to striking points, sneak attacks, to get surprise rounds. Friend's good on dialogue checks, but if you are on Tactician or Honor modes, it can maybe turn a creature hostile, so be careful. Like, they have their own situations on when these can be useful, but I'd say Friends and Minor Illusion are probably going to be the most generally helpful. Now, here we get spells, and you can pick up anything you want. Dissonant Whispers do 3d6 psychic damage, try and frighten a creature. On save, the target takes half damage. This is good just because it's another ranged damage option, and it can possibly frighten creatures. And it does guaranteed damage. So frightened, can't move, disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. So that's awesome. Healing Words just spread healing across your entire party, which is, you know, just generally a good thing. Thunder Wave, this can knock people off ledges, which is awesome. And then for the last one, I mean, you've got lots of good stuff. If you picked Bard early on, Sleep is good. Fairy Fire can also be pretty good, turn target's visible advantage. I'd say grab Long Strider because, well, you don't need your spells for damage, you have Fighter for that. You need your spells mostly for utility and support. So, you get a starting instrument. I went with a lyre, because it's the closest thing to a guitar. Why not? Then for my proficiency, I went with persuasion, just because that made the most sense. Yeah. But your favorite. Now at Bard level 2, we get quite a few things. We get more spell slots and an extra spell. Jack of all trades, half your proficiency bonus rounded down is added to any ability check you are not proficient in. This is just always going to be helpful, no matter what. And it's perfect to have on the face of the party, which is Fred, the leader. Song of Rest, use your action to vitalize targets though they have taken a short rest outside of combat. This ability can be used once per long rest. So having 3 short rests per long rest is really good. Then for spells, again, just pick your favorites. I guess Tasha's Hideous Laughter works. Scooby-Doo Laugh Track, why not? It's only really first season kind of thing. At Bard level 3, we get our subclass. I went with College of Valor. This is because we don't actually need anything else. You could go College of Swords and get more stuff you can do with your weapon attacks, but we have Battlemaster for that. You could go College of War and get some stuff from that. You could go with the new College Glamour that I honestly have not looked into. But the reason I went with College Valor is it upgrades your Bardic Inspiration to not only buff attack roll, ability checks, and saving throws, but also weapon damage and armor class. So, at the start of the day, you can pick allies, and you can pick 3 of the Scooby members, and then just give them College of Valor. And then their next attack roll, saving throw, weapon damage, or armor class that they need to buff, they'll be able to add 1d6 to it, which is very good. Basically what I'm saying is you could go with any of these other things, but the Bard spells are more of it. Bard stuff is mostly play support, and keep allies alive more than anything else. Now, we have level 2 spell slots of Hold Person. Because why not? Fred's the trap guy, so sure, you're trapping and ensnaring someone. Would be cool if he got Ensnaring Strike, that would actually be really fitting. At Bard level 4, we get an extra cantrip. I'll grab Minor Illusion. Again, pick your favorite from these, because they're not super needed. We get an extra level 2 spell slots. This really isn't going to be needed too much, but I'd say Shatter or Heat Metal work. heat metal, you encounter quite a few enemies that have metal armor or metal weapons, so giving those enemies penalties or just guaranteed damage, that's really good. Shatter, it's AoE, it's like a thunder version of Fireball, but slightly weaker. We all know how overpowered Cloud of Daggers is, but the reason I don't recommend taking this is because, well, we have Scooby and Daphne also being frontline characters, so the odds of this getting in the way of your allies increases because we have more frontline characters. But if you want Cloud of Daggers, absolutely take it, it's a good spell. I'm just going to grab Shatter because why not? Now, at Bard level 4 we also get a feat, so I'm just going to increase Charisma. If you go with Mirror of Loss and put +3 into Charisma and Potion of Everlasting Vigor, you have a 20 Strength and 20 Charisma, which is awesome. But if you don't want to do that, figure out how you want to work things out. I'd say Strength is more important than Charisma. So, put a +4 into Strength and then leave Charisma at 16 would probably be your best bet. Because we don't need the Bard stuff as much. You just wouldn't be as good at conversation. At Bard level 5, Font of Inspiration, your Bardic Inspiration recovers on a short or long rest, and you have an extra Inspiration charge. And it goes up from a D6 to a D8, and you have level 3 spell slots. Now, there's no debate, we are grabbing Glyph of Warding. Yeah, you could grab something else and whatever, but Glyph of Warding is literally a magic trap. Okay, Fred is the trap guy. We're getting Glyph of Warding. This is not up for debate. Alright. Alright. There we go, the loot. So, I have Liara's loots. Powered spell. I don't... whatever. So, yeah, that is the build. A lot of abilities here that you get. So, I'm gonna cover the equipments while I have Daphne make her way over to Withers. And also
All's well that
Velma and
not as bad as it
Shaggy.
could have.
Scooby, I'll have him dismiss himself.
Time to press ahead. Still alive, so that's progress.
Alright, so Fred's... So, I'll cover the equipment for Fred that I used. Helm of Baldurin. Heals you for 2 HP every turn, +1 armor class saving throws, can't be crit, and can't be stunned. This is just good for any frontline fighter character of the group. You get this from the same place where you fight Ansor. It's the reward at the end of the dungeon. You can get this without actually fighting Ansor if you want, so you don't actually have to fight him. Cloak of Elemental Absorption, you find this in Act 2, in Kethric's room. You have to do some exploring of Moonrise Towers. Absorb elemental damage once per short rest, take half damage from the next element targeting you, do an extra 1d6 of that element type on your next attack. That's really good, and it takes a reaction, so if you opportunity attack or repose, then you can't use this, so do be careful when using it. I just needed something to cover the cloak slot, and figured, well, occasionally buffing my weapon damage is probably very helpful. Armor, for our heavy armor, most of the game I was wearing the Helldusk armor because I cheated to get it in Act 1 through just silencing Raphael and then beating him up. So you could do that. But Armor of Persistence, you get this in Act 3. It's really good armor. Reduce all incoming damage by 2. You have the Resistance spell active, so 1d4 bonus to saving throws. And you have Blade Ward active. You have Resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Do have disadvantage in stealth checks, but that's fine. So, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing resistance, that's weapon damage. You're mostly going to be on the front line, so this is really good armor to have for a frontline character. In order to get this armor, you buy it from Damon at his Act 3 forge. If you just explore Baldur's Gate, you'll find it. It's not that hard to find, so make sure you keep the tieflings alive, especially Damon. Alright. In order to get this armor. If, for whatever reason, you can't get this, the Helldusk armor works just fine. If I can find... Yeah, Helldusk armor. Consider proficient while wearing it. Succeed a saving throw, target caster receives burning for 3 turns. Resistance to fire, can't be burned, 3 less damage from all sources, get the fly spell. This is also really good, it's just a trade-off of 1 armor class. So, you know, it's a pretty helpful spell. Now, Legacy of Masters. This you will also get from Damon. So, I'm gonna say this again. Keep Damon alive. I don't know what you'll do for the gloves if Damon dies. I think I had... I had something. There's some gloves that gave an extra bark inspiration charge. Oh well. Yeah, I can't seem to find this. Wondrous Gloves. Armor class increased by 1, extra bark inspiration charge. You find these in Act 1, so those are helpful. But, Legacy of the Masters. +2 to attack damage rolls with weapons, and +1 strength saves. So, that essentially turns any weapon you're carrying into a +2 weapon by default. And then whatever weapon enchant they have, like this is a +2 weapon. So this sword right here, I'll talk about in a minute. This is essentially a +4 weapon. Really good. Boots of Persistence. I can't remember if you get these from Damon or if you get these from the other forge lady, the dwarf. I don't remember what her name is. These give you freedom of movement. Movement speed can't be reduced by difficult terrain, spells, or magical effects. You cannot be paralyzed or restrained. Really good, especially for a melee fighter. And you get Long Strider by default, which is just awesome. Onto the jewelry. Amulet of the Harpers, you get this in Act 2 from, she's at the front gates, I don't remember what her name is. But, main merchant lady in the last slide in. This gives you advantage on wisdom saving throws and checks, and shields they can cast once per long rest. We all know what shield does, it's a very broken spell. Now, making yourself immune to magic missile is really helpful, as well as increase your armor class by 5 in case something manages to pierce through your heavy armor. This is just really good. For rings, I have the Callous Glow ring. You can have Velma pick up the light spell and cast it on Fred's weapon.
All's well that ends bad.
And
As bad as it could have.
It gains light. Making it where this Callous Glow ring is always active, adding extra radiant damage to your attacks. You find this in Act 2, in the Gauntlet of Shar. It's behind a DC 30 locked door. In the same room where Balthazar's skeletal minions get ambushed for the second time by a bunch of the undead Sharans. So there's that. Crusher Ring, you pick this up in Act 1, plus 10 movement speed. I was just pressed on what to do for this other ring slot. I really had no idea what to do, so I figured might as well give this to Fred, because why not? Now, Voss's Silver Sword. There are only 2 ways to pick up this weapon. You either have to kill Voss in Act 1, or you have to pickpocket it off him in Act 3. I pickpocketed the weapon off him in Act 3. Daphne will have good sleight of hand, so there is that. Now, it's a +2 weapon that does an extra 1d4 psychic damage by default. And then, because we're wielding it with one hand, it does 1d8 weapon damage. Then, its innate effect is this weapon gains 1d4 bonus to damage and attack rolls against Githyanki, Abjuration, Fiends, and Elementals. Really good, especially in the final boss, where, well, you fight Abjurations and Fiends. That's helpful for when you go raid the House of Hope. to get even more OP gear. And the other two is just fine, I guess. Now, I had the adamantine shield because I didn't really know what else to equip. I guess you can grab something else because Helm of Baldur gives you crit immunity. You can find another shield somewhere in the game that helps. Like, Viconia's Walking Fortress. This gives +3 armor class. Advantage on saves against all spells. And spell attack rolls have disadvantage against you. That's pretty good. Shield of Shielding. Like, there are a handful of good options that you can grab, but I just never swapped out of it. When a melee attack misses you, target sent reeling for 2 turns, so it gets -2 to attack rolls. Because for every turn of reeling they have a -1. So that's pretty good. Helps shut down anything that's attacking a bunch. I grabbed the Hellrider Longbow in Act 3. +3 bonus to initiative rolls, advantage on perception checks, and the on-hit weapon effect doesn't mean anything because we're not using the weapon for damage. We're using melee weapons for damage. Wrathful Smite is on this sword, so you can use it in conjunction with your battle maneuvers to do a lot and just be a very powerful frontline combatant. Like, by the end of the game, you're doing a bunch of damage. I mean, look at that. 13 to 23. Very powerful melee fighter. Buff the entire party. Spells kind of fall by the wayside because they're not super needed. But that's a small trade-off. You can always just healing word it down to ally. You can Thunder Wave, push enemies back. This actually has a really good range for stuff around you. You can just knock everything that's around you back. Like, look how far away Shaggy is, and I can still technically hit him. Look at that. Barely within range, and I can still hit them.
What path lies before me?
And targets need to succeed. Saving throw, or I get knocked away. So, very, very good.
Give it a shot.
Fred, chill here. Ah, no, that's too dark.
What to do?
I was gonna say, I'll have him chill here until the end of the video, but now that room's way darker than I remembered. Alright. So, overall, out of this build, you're getting a very effective frontline tank and a very useful support build, all wrapped up in one. Even if you don't want this to be like your for Scooby-Doo builds, this is actually still a very powerful build on its own. Now, the armor clothing that I'm using, I just went with basic boots that he started with, and then comfortable Ash Meadow outfit with the baby blue and gold dye, because this is the closest I could possibly get it to Fred, because the dyes did not want to paint the shirt white. If you have better combinations, leave them in the comments. I beg you. This was driving me crazy the entire playthrough. Now, for Daphne.
Thou walkest alone. Love is and
Withers, shut up. I don't care.
fate. Dost thou require an as thou
So, Daphne. At the beginning of the game, you can start with Monk, and then respec later, but I'm gonna skip that. So, with Daphne, I went with Rogue to begin with. This gets us... well, most of these weapon proficiencies don't matter, armor proficiency doesn't matter. So it's mostly coming down to skills. Also, we get sneak attack, but that's not really something that we need to concern ourselves with. So, I did have her go as a wood elf. Not that you can really tell, because I've made sure to make her look as much like a human as possible. Made sure to grab investigation. Spoilers, the entire Scooby gang, I worked to get investigation proficiency. So wood elves get stealth and perception as free skills that they have proficiency with. Noble background, because Daphne is rich. So history and persuasion for free. And then, because I was kind of pressed on what to grab, because Daphne's not going to be in conversation too much, I just went and grabbed sleight of hand, acrobatics, and athletics, because this last skill was kind of a throwaway. Throw it into whatever. It really does not matter. For expertise, I grabbed sleight of hand and stealth. Now, for these ability scores, 16 dexterity and 16 wisdom, we are going to be leveling in monk, so both of those are very important. Constitution, 14, we can have it any higher. And 8 strength, 8 intelligence, that's fine. And then charisma, I didn't care. You can have your stats look like this, or this, if you want. Doesn't really matter either way. You would just split up your +2 later on from leveling up into dexterity and constitution to be tankier. I just didn't feel like doing that for this character, so I figured, sure, why not? Increase charisma. Oh my gosh, all those abilities are gone. At Rogue level 2, we get Cunning Action, Hide, Dash, and Disengage as bonus action. Now, because of how few levels in Rogue we're getting, because we don't need it too much, I recommend just going with the Thief subclass. This grants us an extra bonus action, and we gain resistance to fall damage. Awesome. At Rogue level 4, we get feats, Dexterity or Wisdom choice. Then we're going to go out of Rogue and into Monk for the other 8 levels. Now, Monk, this gets us Flurry of Blows. As a bonus action, we can punch twice in quick succession. We get key points. You have unarmored defense while not wearing armor. You add Wisdom modifier to your armor class, which is why Dex and Wisdom are both important. You use your Dexterity for unarmed attacks instead of Strength. Your weapon, monk weapons and unarmed strikes do 1d4 bludgeoning damage unless their normal damage is higher. And after making an attack with monk weapon or unarmed attack, you can make an unarmed attack as a bonus action. This is why the extra bonus action is helpful, because monks are very bonus action dependent. At monk level 2, we get unarmed movement, more movement speed, and we get patient defense, step when dash and disengage. Patient defense, the cost of bonus action and key points. Attack rolls against you have disadvantage. You have advantage on dex saves for 1 turn. That's pretty good. Step of the Wind, dash and disengage lets you dash or disengage as a bonus action and using key points. However, jumping no longer requires a bonus action, so sometimes this might be more beneficial than cunning action. Up to you. At monk level 3, we get our subclass. We get deflect missiles as well. You can use reaction to reduce ranged weapon damage by 1d10 plus your dex modifier plus your monk level. If damage is reduced to 0, you can use key points to send the missile right back at the target. It's pretty good. Now, you can go with whatever for your subclass. I'd say Way of Open Hand or Way of Shadow are definitely the best options. But Open Hand is just very strong. This makes it where you have 3 options for your Flurry of Blows. You can either try and knock target prone, make them unable to use reactions, or push them away. 17 feet away. So, throw them off buildings. Topple and push are probably going to be your best options, although Stagger has its uses. At monk level 4, we get an extra ability score. I'm going to go with Wisdom. I just need to check something real quick. See what I put Mirror Wasp bonus into. Okay, put it in Dexterity. Yeah, I forgot. At monk level 5, we get extra attack and stunning strike, as well as extra key points. All of these are really helpful, and at this point, you'll have 4 attacks per turn. You attack, bonus action attack, extra attack, and then extra bonus action attack. 4 attacks, 1 turn. Very useful, especially if you start stacking damage. At monk level 6, we get extra subclass features. And also, your unarmed attacks count as magical damage for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunities. So, I would recommend to level monk up quickly, so that way by the time you get to Act 2, or early Act 2, this will be online, because there's a lot of weapon resistance among undead enemies. So this will just be very helpful. You get more movement speed, you get wholeness body, use your action to regain half your key points, enter a state of wholeness where you regain key points every turn, and have an extra bonus action. You also recover 3 times your monk level in HP so that's pretty good. You also get Manifestation of Mind, Body, and Soul. I recommend Soul being active. This lets you do an extra 1d4 plus Wisdom modifier in whatever and one of these 3 damage types: Necrotic, Psychic, or Radiant. The Radiant damage is probably the best, but pick your favorite. At Monk level 7, we get access to Evasion. Spell effects. A spell effect would deal half damage to a successful dex save, deals no damage if you succeed, and only half if you fail. That's really good. And then Stillness of Mind, automatically cast this to remove Charmed or Frightened. This uses your action, it's not very good. There's no way to toggle this off. It's just automatically used, so unfortunately, we have to deal with this. At Monk level 8, we get an extra key point, and we go into +2 to Wisdom, because that's going to be more damage. I did go Mirror of Loss with Daphne and put that into Dexterity, because I really did not care one way or another. So, yeah, very effective character, just the whole way through. Grab the different gloves that do different 1d4 extra damage. Most of them are in Act 3, so for most of the game you're going to be dealing with these. But, This is just a standard monk build with a little bit of rogue splashed in. You've probably seen this a handful of times. I stole Gale's clothes and boots for this character. I think I stole his boots. I don't know. So, equipment. Horns of the Berserker, +2 to attack rolls against creatures that have taken damage. That's gonna be basically everything with this group teaming up together. Unarmed and melee attacks against creatures do an extra 2 necrotic damage if you don't have full health. If you don't do any damage this turn, you take 1d4 necrotic at the end of your turn. I mean, you're going to be attacking a bunch of times in one turn, so really doesn't matter about that downside. This cloak I just threw on here for literally anything. It really didn't matter. So pick your favorite cloak. This slot was kind of just a throwaway. Vest of Soul Rejuvenation. Succeed on a saving throw against a spell. Regain 1d4 hit points. Combined with Evasion, this means if you succeed on the save against Fireball, not only do you take 0 damage, you actually heal from it, which is very funny. Grey Crescido counter, where it can use a reaction to make an unarmed strike against any attacker that misses. And to get +2 to armor class, so look at that armor class. That is awesome. Yes, I threw the Ring of Protection on Daphne because I just needed something for the extra ring slots. Because it wasn't really needed. So, yeah, you get a lot of armor class despite only being a monk. Very overpowered. Gloves of Soul Catching. Your unarmed attacks do an extra 1d10 force damage once per turn when you hit. On an unarmed hit, you can regain 10 HP, or you may forego the healing to gain advantage on attack roll saving throws until the end of your turn, and +2 to Constitution. So we have even more Constitution. This puts us at 99 HP, on par with the rest of the group, except for Shaggy for whatever reason, because he's just got a lot. Boots of Uninhibited Kashigo. You add your Wisdom modifier to the damage with your unarmed strikes. So, you're doing 1d6 plus 1d10 plus 10 damage with your armed strikes, and let's throw that there. There we go. 18 to 35 with a normal punch. Yeah, that's a lot. Go around killing just about anything. Yeah. Very powerful, overpowered damage. Face Semblance Amulet, advantage on Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma saving throws. I needed something there. And ignore the effects of difficult terrain, cannot be paralyzed or restrained. This is just really good for... I didn't mean to short rest there. Whoops. This is just really good in general. So I thought I'd throw it onto the melee fighter. Grant resistance to fire and cold damage, and haste, Darkfire Shortbow, you know, just OP bow. The Graceful Cloth will carry you for most of the game. Boots of Speed are really helpful. Most of this stuff is Act 3 exclusive, so, you know, just take your time. Because you're a monk, you don't need weapons or really to worry about armor, so just wear whatever.
Can't slow down.
For the time being.
I have a lot on my mind.
You've probably seen a handful of monk builds before. This really isn't anything too special, it's just your standard monk build. You know. Now on to Velma. I really don't want to respec Velma because I don't want to go through and manually pick all these spells again. Or whatever I didn't learn through level up. So, Velma is a divination wizard, mixed with knowledge domain cleric. Level her however you want. Make sure you pick wizard first and then cleric. This is very important. The reason you want to pick wizard first is so you can get investigation proficiency. Yes, we are going to make sure everybody in this group has investigation proficiency because it's the Scooby gang, damn it. Alright. I went with the sage backgrounds. So that... I think that's Arcana and History. Maybe it was History. And... no, whatever. So yeah, stage backgrounds. I just really don't want to manually click through all of that again. So for the wizard side of spells, pick your favorites. Same with the cleric. You can level up, grab whatever spells you want. Divination is just really good school of magic because it gives you the portents. That's fun. I did have to grab the tough feat to make up for poor constitution, because I figured buffing armor class would just be better. Where is... Go. hoard scrolls like your life depends on it, is my advice. So, for equipment, hood, cloak, and robe with weave, these are all found in Acts 3. Hood is found, same place where you, go to hell. The cloak is found Mystic Carrion. Maybe I have those two mixed up. Hi, Pudge. Hi. So I'll give you pets. The rope of the weave, you steal this, and dragon staff from the Roakin and Sorcerer Sundry's tower. Helldust gloves, you take these from the House of Hope. Pudge, yes, I understand you want a box, but I'm trying to do a video here. Yes, Pudge, I'm trying to do a video. For the boot slot, I had no idea what to do, so I just threw on something. This buffs armor class, so I figured why not give an even 20. Dragon Staff, +1 to spell attack roll, spell save DC. Arcane Battery to let you cast spell that expend a spell slot. And you get Koreshna's Favor, and the reason why I call it Dragon Staff. View yourself with elemental energy from Draconic Goddess Koreshna. So that's why I call it Dragon Staff instead of Marco Heschnir, because Dragon Staff is just easier. You get to pick an element, so whatever you want, pick your favorites. Bone-Shattering Thunder is really good for Destructive Wave. Bolts of Doom for Chain Lightning. Cone of Cold and Ice Storm from Dark Winter are both good. Really, all these are good. Just pick your favorite, or pick whatever you think would be the most helpful. Ketheric's Shield, advantage on dex saves, +1 spell attack roll, spell save DC. Why not? The Near Misser. Cast Magic Missile for free, does force damage. Get Magic Missile for free, and free spell slots, that's always helpful. Pair up to Wound Closure, automatically stabilized when downed at the start of your turn. Whenever you heal max possible HP. Ring of Regeneration, at the start of your turn, you heal 1d4 hit points. This synergizes with this to have you instantly heal 4. And Whispering Promise, whenever you heal someone, they gain Bless for 2 turns. So you can just mass Healing Word and give all your allies Bless. Or you can just heal them and give them Bless. Pick whatever support spells you want from Cleric, and then whatever spells you think would be helpful from Wizard. This build is a mix between a damage dealer and a support. However, it leans a bit more into support territory because that is what the group needs. I recommend going into the cleric levels early, grab all that you want out of it, and then put everything else into wizard. I went with an even split because, well, having destroy undead was just really helpful in Acts 2. Gain proficiency in whatever set of skills you want is helpful. I recommend Wisdom, maybe Charisma, and having somebody have Speak with Animals is really good. So, I mean, you can swap up this leveling scheme however you want. But that's what I went with. You can grab the Hellfire Crossbow from Year Gear. but I kept him alive and never actually killed him, so I didn't grab it on this playthrough, but you can grab it if you want. For Velma, I went with the Mirror of Loss on Wisdom, so that way Intelligence, Wisdom would both round out, and I grabbed the Tough Feats because, well, I wanted to make up for her lack of Constitution. If you grab the Tharshan Codex, then you are very tanky. Combined with your plus 4 HP every turn, you're going to be pretty hard to take down. This is a really good support build, especially if you lean more into support spells rather than damage. But, that's up to you. On to
Thou walkest, love and
shut up with this.
fate. Dost thou require a new, as thou...
Okay, Shaggy. We are going 12 levels Beastmaster Ranger. I'm just gonna say that outright. You get all weapon proficiencies, light armor, medium armor, shields, right off the gate. I went with Wood Half-Elf, I want the extra movement speed, and stealth proficiency. This can absolutely work with Human, but it can't work with Wood Elf because you just need the little chin fuzz at the end of his... I guess you could call that beard. Why not? So, for your favorite enemy, grab Bounty Hunter first, because this gets you investigation proficiency. Bam! Entire Scooby gang, barring Scooby-Doo, has investigation proficiency. There you go. Yes, I've worked hard to make sure the entire Scooby gang had investigation proficiency, because why not? Now, you can grab any of these others later on. It really doesn't matter too much. I went with Wasteland Wanderer. Cold, Fire, and Poison. I went with Fire at the beginning of the game because I just wanted to make the Nobloids even easier for myself, because why not? Skills look like this because you really don't need anything else for your ability scores. Dex at 17, Constitution at 15, Wisdom at 16. We're going to be buffing Dexterity and Constitution up by +1 each with an ability score improvement, so they're both going to be even numbers at the end of the game. We get Athletics and Survival from the Outlander background, so that's fun, because I just thought Outlander worked best for Shaggy, because he's a hippie who hangs out with his dog. Well, not dog, alien. Scooby-Doo is an alien. Keep that in mind. We get stealth proficiency for free, and then you've gotten most of the ranger proficiencies just from your backgrounds and your race selection, as well as your favorite enemy. So really, you only have 3 left. I grabbed Perception, Animal Handling, and Nature because Shaggy's not going to be in dialogue too much, so Insight really isn't too helpful. So, really didn't matter. At Ranger level 2, we get access to spells. I just went with Ensnaring Strike and Hunter's Mark. Might as well make our Uh, um, our favorite enemy, useful. Oh my gosh. Almost choked on tea. Ah. Ah. Pudge. Gun. My way. Ah. I was trying to shoo him away as I was drinking. Anyway, so Staring Strike Hunters mark these are both good options. They're both concentrations, so you can't have both at the same time. I feel like we all know what these both do at this point. Archery fighting style plus 2 ranged weapon attacks. We are mostly using a bow, so this is just overall more helpful. You can grab defense if you want. I don't see a ton of point to that for this character. We do get another spell at this level. I guess take Scooby snacks if you want. Use the spell slot, create 4 Scooby snacks in your inventory, each healing 1d4 hit points. These last until long rest, and each individual one is worth 1 camp supplies. So, you know, it's helpful. For subclass, there's only one option, and that's Beastmaster for the Ranger Companion. We can get a Wolf Companion for Scooby-Doo Pudge. Oh my gosh, what do you want? Okay, I've been giving you pets. No, I can't box with you. I know that's what you want, but I can't box with you right now. I am recording a video. Alright, so at Ranger, we have a few options. We can grab Mobile. Movement speed increases by 10 feet. Difficult terrain doesn't slow you down. Dash. If you move after making a melee attack, you don't provoke opportunity attacks from the target. We can get abilities for improvement, buff our dexterity and constitution, or we could get Sharpshooter. For ranged weapon builds, might as well go all in on this. I'm gonna grab Mobile, and grab Sharpshooter later on. At Ranger level 5, we get access to extra attack and level 2 spell slots. We get Companion's Bond, so the bond between you and Companion grows stronger. Proficiency bonus added to their armor class. Yep, that's right, your Companion actually scales and gets stronger. Each individual one has its own stats. So, screw you, 5E, for making Ranger bad. Larian, fix, you're stupid. Spells aren't really too much of a thing. I guess grab Spike Growth, because might as well mess with the terrain. Because we're mostly a weapon fighter. I just needed Ranger for the Beast Companion thing. At any point, while leveling, you can swap out an old spell for a new one if you find one to be more helpful. That's up to you. At Ranger level 6, we get another favorite enemy, a Natural Explorer. I'm just gonna grab Poison, because why not? And I guess, because we don't really need much of these, so pick your favorite. I guess I'll grab Keeper of the Veil. Why not? Protection from evil and good, that's a good spell. And Arcana Proficiency, why not? Sanctified Stalker also works. Get proficiency in religion. History could work as proficiency, and maybe you want to wear heavy armor. We already have Arcana Proficiency, and True Strike is bad, so Mage Hunter wouldn't really be too helpful. But that's decisions up to you. I guess at Ranger level 7, Your beast companion can now hide, dash, and disengage as a bonus action and as an action. This gives your beast companion way more versatility and utility on the battlefield, making them even more helpful. You also get another spell, so grab whatever you want. I guess Silence works because why not? You can definitely switch this out for less Restoration or Dark Vision if you want, because we're not using spells a whole lot, so you could buff your allies with Dark Vision. That's up to you. So pick your favorite from there. At Ranger level 8, we get access to Landstride's difficult terrain. Difficult terrain no longer slows you down, and I need to show off the wiki because there's quite a bit of stuff that's not mentioned here. Where's Ranger? Scroll all the way down. So, hidden feature, Landstride plants. Plant surfaces, spikes, and similar hazards do not harm you. This is very important to keep in mind, so any plant-based surface doesn't harm you whatsoever. So you can cast spike growth around your own feet and then run away, and you won't take damage from it. The game doesn't tell you about this feature. Even though it's a really important feature to know. And I don't know why the game doesn't tell you. You can replace an old spell if you want, it really doesn't matter. I'm gonna grab ability score improvement just because it's right here. At Ranger level 9, you get an extra spell and access to 3rd level spells. Plant growth is really good for controlling the battlefield. It doesn't require concentration, and it orders the movement speed of all creatures in it, so you can completely shut down battlefields. Lightning Arrow is also good to do some AoE. Daylight is good for just creating a massive area of light. And spelling all darkness. A handful of enemies do cast the darkness spell, so this is a really good counter. Conjure Barrage, this is a fairly good spell, but I just went with Spike Growth because, Plant Growth because it's pretty good. You get an extra spell, you get one more spell as you level up. I think at level 11, if I'm not mistaken, so pick your favorite. I just went with Plant Growth, because why not? Now, at Ranger level 10, we get Hide in Plain Sight, camouflage yourself with your environment, become invisible, gain +10 stealth checks as long as you stand still. This is not a terrible ability, but level 10, that's a little late for something like this, and you can't move, so it's a real hit or miss feature. You either will use it or you won't. I'll grab Sanctified Stalker because why not? And Wasteland Wanderer Colds, so now you have cold, fire, poison resistance. You can grab either one of these if you want, but Daphne has Sleight of Hand expertise, so that's kind of redundant. And Beast Tamer, you have your Ammo Companion, so this is a little redundant. So, At Ranger level 11, we get an extra spell. I'll just grab Lightning Arrow. And your Beast Companion is fully powered up, and they have extra attack at this point. So your Beast Companion will feel like an extra member of the party, just a 5th member of the party. Very helpful. And then, lastly, we get Sharpshooter at Ranger level 12. Your ranged weapon attacks do not receive penalties from high ground rules, and ranged weapon attacks with weapons you're proficient with. You can optionally take -5 to hits in exchange for a +10 to damage. This is really good, it's really powerful,
How much
and
farther
is
can I go?
100% offset. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you what. Just dyed the base clothing orange for Velma. Now, for our headpiece, Circle of Hunting, 1d4 bonus to attack rolls against creatures marked by Hunter's Mark, True Strike, Fairy Fire, and Guiding Bolts. So if you had Fred pick up Fairy Fire, and you have Velma using Guiding Bolts, this can synergize with your team. But since it works with Hunter's Mark, you can use that against whatever target, and gain a 1d4 bonus against them. This will help offset the penalty from Hunter's Mark fairly well. Cloak Protection, because somebody needed to wear it, because it's just a really good cloak. Armor of Landfall, +1 bonus to spell save DC, considering we did not buff our wisdom at all, that is very helpful. I got a +2 from Mirror of Loss to dexterity, so yeah, that's pretty helpful. Even better stuff for our bow. Loves of Archery, you pick these up in Act 1. +2 to damage for your ranged weapon damage. Stacked with the archery fighting style, and you essentially have a +2 enchantment on all of your bows. Which, considering you can grab these in Act 1, that's a really good combo. Disintegrating Nightwalkers, just insanely good. Can't be unwebbed, tangled, ensnared, or slip on ice and grease. And a free cast Misty Step. Good mobility, can allow you to get onto the roof of a building. And get the high ground so you can start striking people with bonus from high grounds. So really good. Anyways, for your amulets, I just went with the Amulet Misty Step, because more Misty Steps for combat is pretty good. Grab whatever amulet you want,
Light on
though,
my feet.
because it's whatever. Caustic Bands, +2 acid damage, because that's helpful, and Strange Conduit Ring, while concentrating on a spell. 1d4 extra psychic damage with your weapon attacks. So if you're concentrating on Hunter's Mark, you are pretty good. You're going to be very well off with yourself. The Knife of the Undermountain King for the weapon, I just went with this because I figured, why not? Just grab a good weapon. It's helpful. It reduces the number you need to roll a critical hit by 1. It's +2 weapon. Sure, why not? The rest of the effect doesn't really matter a ton because we're almost never going to use it. Adamantine Shield, make yourself immune to crits. Melee attacker misses you. Set reeling. We already talked about this with Red. Now, Deadshot Bow. This is your bread and butter, your main weapon. the number you need to roll a critical hit is reduced by 1, so now you crit on an 18, 19, and 20, because that affects stacks. Really awesome. And as long as you don't have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target, you have a plus, you add your proficiency bonus twice to hit. Look, a 50-50 shot at hitting Fred.
Looking ahead.
Fred has 23 AC,
Let's move.
and I have a 50-50 shot at hitting Fred. That's really good. It has a +2 weapon enchantment, so proficiency twice. By level 12, your proficiency bonus is +4. So proficiency twice is 8. Then +2 weapon enchantment means that is a +10. Then archery fighting style does a +2. And then +5 from your dex modifier. So you can have sharpshooter active, take -5, and still have a +12 to hit. 75% chance to hit Fred without sharpshooter active. That is really good. Mostly gonna be fighting weaker enemies, so like you're gonna be planting a lot of your shots. But we're not done yet. We still have one last member. Wolf Companion, Scooby-Doo.
Don't waste a step.
Now, Scooby-Doo. Hide, dash, disengage. Use the help action. You know, literally just an extra member of the party. He's about as useful as everyone else. Look at everyone's AC, how they're all about in the 20s. And well, would you look at that? 21 AC. About middling stats, but still pretty good. So, your basic bite attack is what you're going to be using early on, but you do have lunging bites. You sacrifice a little bit of damage, but you can try and knock a target prone. That can be really good, really helpful. And because you're a wolf, you have pack tactics. So if an ally is within 10 feet, right, it's 10 feet, not 5. Where is it? Pack tactics. 10 feet, yes. If an ally is within 10 feet of the thing you're attacking, you have advantage. That's really good. Eventually, your main bite attack gets upgraded to infectious bites. It deals normal damage, but instead of piercing, it does necrotic. And it can possibly turn the target septic. Affected NC has Constitution lowered by 1 and disadvantage on con saving throws. That is really good. It's really good to have. But it's not super useful in Act 2, where everything is either resistant or immune to necrotic damage, but they also have resistance to weapon damage, so yeah, Scooby's not going to feel too helpful in Act 2, aside from just being an extra thing clogging up initiative to help you possibly do a little bit of damage, as well as help as a bonus action. At level 11, Scooby will get access to Lupine Slash, which actually has a pretty good cone of effects. Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad effects. Yeah, it's not bad. 10 feet. It does force damage and hits everything in front of you. It's an attack roll, so you can... Aha! Managed to catch it. See, he conjures a sword out of nothing. This is so cool. So you can attack, extra attack, and hit multiple things with your sword. It is really awesome. This party is really strong when working together. It has its highs and lows, like every party, but I'd say this is about your average party. I want to stay true to the Scooby-Doo characters and try and make them useful.
No one stopped me yet.
Obviously, Velma had to be a wizard because high intelligence, but I had to go cleric to give the team some survivability during the middling sections of the game.
At least things have stayed interesting.
Which is also why I had Fred level Bard to give the group some survivability.
Still breathing, despite everything.
So I tried to make them an effective D&D party, while also staying true to the characters. And I feel like I did a good job at keeping true to the characters. Now, I can't actually show off any combat encounters because, you know, I've beaten the game with this party. That's why I'm making this playthrough, why I'm making this build guide. But I do have a playlist with all of my build, with the entire playthrough in the description, where you can watch me make this party as I play through the game. Figuring out what equipment I actually want, because I largely didn't plan any equipment too far in advance. So I was kind of making it up as I went along. And this was the first playthrough I had multiple custom companions for, so I really didn't know what I was doing. Oh right, I forgot to mention, Velma's a Lightfoot halfling. I just wanted to go with a short race, and halfling having the halfling luck, reroll, attack roll, ability check, saving throw if you roll 1.
No time to
I mean,
rest.
it's not super duper helpful on a wizard, but it's pretty useful. None of the other short races really
Still
meant
alive,
much.
so that's progress.
Velma's shorter than the rest of the group,
Shouldn't have wished to live in
so
more interesting
why not?
times.
Shaggy is the tallest member of the group because he's tall and lanky. But whatever. So yeah, I was just making this party up as I went along. 9% chance hit. Yeah, that makes sense. Keep in mind, you can toggle the sharpshooter passive on and off. $85. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this group, really powerful together. 22 to 29 damage on Shaggy's attacks.
Can't give up now.
Which, you know, 13 to 23. Yeah.
All right. What now?
Shaggy's doing a lot of damage.
Still breathing, despite everything.
So this group is really strong, really effective. And synergizes really well together. I would recommend you watch my playthrough
Never
where
a dull moment.
I played this entire build with the party.
Have a lot on my mind.
And
well,
recommend
in it.
you make your own custom party because it is really fun. But other than that, this is going to be the end of the video. Hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have a nice day, and thank you very much for watching.